Hi guys, welcome to the 7-Man Show with me, your host Sean. I've heard a lot of people speak about a crash coming, and why do they do that? Now, basically all these economists each year, they talk about a crash. They talk about one from the end of one crash to the beginning of another one. I remember there was one economist from 2008 all the way through to the next crash each year saying there's going to be a crash next year, and there wasn't. Prices went up, and same thing happened year after next year. There's going to be a crash next year. No one called him on it. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was mistaken." He just said the crash is coming next year, and this went on for years and years. And then when there finally was a crash, he went like, "See, I'm a genius," and got a book deal. And this happened again and again. These guys weren't geniuses, they were guessing. It's not like they did like that Michael show from The Big Short, where they actually tore things apart and looked at it. But it would be a big crash. Now, they saw there was a crash before, and they guessed there would be a crash because, every 10 years or so there's going to be a crash. Anyone could have guessed that. And they ended up with a nice lucrative big book deal. Now I guess you're going to smash that like button. Where's my book deal? Anyway, the thing is, lots of people are saying there's going to be a crash. I've even said you should prepare in case of a crash, but instead of selling all your stocks, nothing wrong with taking a profit. No one went broke taking a profit, or trimming some of your stocks, but making sure you've got 10 to 30% in cash in case of a crash. Going into a few crash-proof stocks, which I've done a video about before. Maybe going into Treasury inflation-linked securities, which I've done a video about before, and you'll see why later on in the video. Now, what happens if there's a crash? We'll go through this part first. The Fed has been authorised to buy up $750 billion worth of corporate bonds. They've only bought up $8 billion worth. So they also have a lot more tools at their disposal they haven't used yet. And the thing is, their costs have gone up while GDP has gone down. People are using the excuse that the Fed is trimming its balance books as an excuse to say there's going to be a crash. Well, no offence, but the government needs to bring in money. The government either goes out and borrows more and ends up like Japan, where its debt is 130% of its GDP. It's got to enhance its debt and GDP numbers. It has invested all this money into these stocks and corporate bonds. What has happened to these stocks and corporate bonds since it's invested in March? And they've gone up. They've made a profit. Do you not remember my video a week ago where Facebook was hitting 240, then it was dropping, then it was hitting 240, then it was dropping, and I said there's a trend here. There's a big seller, I think it's ETF, either ETFs or the pension funds, who are, when it hits 240, they're releasing a load onto the market. Could well have been the Fed. You know, they've made their profit. They're releasing a load onto the market now. And the week before you had it with Apple, where a load got released onto their market. Now, the one person who usually sells shares before a crash is Warren Buffett. Don't forget, before this last crash, he sold Apple shares at $320 a share because he thought it was overvalued. He held a 20% stake. Now, he bought another 5% stake when it went down to 175, I think it was. Now, he still holds that 5% stake. He's reevaluated it. He no longer thinks it's overvalued. He has new information. But I'm not saying go out and buy Apple stock. I personally think it's overvalued at the moment, especially considering closing more stores and they're not bringing out a phone until late. But the thing is, you have to look at the facts. People are scared because the SEC is trimming its balance books. They are worried. And I understand why people are calling a crash, because technically there should be a second crash. The SEC is dumping shares on the market. Pension funds, look at what happened. They thought there would be a crash caused by the pension funds dumping their excess stock on the market. It didn't. They done it in small tranches to get the best value. Now, the thing is, how can I put it? The stock market and the economy in times like this never work in sync. The stock market crashes, then the economy crashes. And because it's the first one to crash, the stock market rises first. We saw it with the banking crisis. We've seen it with every other crisis. Now, the thing is, same thing happened in the UK. I remember my family had Teslas, and I ended up switching to it to an ISA. When I saw it, a Tesla was like a stocks and shares ISA before they come out with a stocks and shares ISA. It predated it. Their value was wiped in half overnight. But the economy at the time was still stable. And then a year later, the economy tanked. By the time the economy tanked, the stock market had recovered. Now, if you enjoy any of today's entertainment, don't forget to smash that lovely like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting the video out to more people. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit that sexy subscribe button, almost as sexy as me, and become part of the Savvy Money Show family. Well, we give each other tips and updates, and you can ask me to look into any share you want. I don't charge for a Discord or Patreon. There's a great community to be a part of. If you want to be a hero, hit that bell notification. You'll be notified when a new video gets uploaded, but I know that can be annoying, especially when it's me the other end. If you're looking for a free trading platform which will trade your stocks and shares, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. You'll get a free share for signing up, worth up to £200 for signing up and depositing a small amount. Free trade only requires £1 deposit to qualify, £2 to trade, and the others require £100 or dollars depending on which app you decide on. Stake has more US shares than any other app outside of America. So that's all my old blarney for today. I'll see you later. Now, I'm not saying there won't be a crash, because historically there will always be a crash at some point. All I'm saying is you make sure you insulate yourself rather than doing what a certain investor has done, and he took out all his money from the from the stock market. By his own admissions, he's lost 94 grand by doing that. If he left it in, you insulate yourself, you crash proof your shares, and you go into a few gold stocks, you go into a few treasury inflation linked stocks, and a treasury inflation linked security. You go into a few bonds if you want to. You go into making sure you have 10 to 30% cash in case you need it, and you put it into not a long-term high yield account, but an easy access high yield account, because while inflation is low, and it is low, the Fed can keep putting money in. As soon as inflation starts going up, that's when the Fed will run into trouble and things will start drying up, and that is when warning signs will come and you will have to start off a crash, possibly. Now, in the UK, I don't know if you know, there's such a thing as, they're talking about a stamp duty holiday. They've already increased it from 125,000 to 500,000 before you have to start paying stamp duty. And talking about reducing VAT from 20% to 5%, and they're doing that on leisure industry, where if you prepay, say for a restaurant, or if you pay to go out to a restaurant, you can go onto a government website and get 50% of your spending back in the form of a voucher. Now, all this is supposed to promote growth in industries that aren't growing enough. No offence, the housing industry doesn't need growth, it's had enough growth. But as we sometimes, the UK mirrors the US, the US tends to mirror the UK as well. So you can probably expect something like that in the US if they start running into trouble in these industries. So someone asked me, why am I not picking up Cheesecake Factory or Dave and Buster's, because Meet Kevin and Jeremy have flagged it up, and they are good opportunities. I've said to them, are you picking up Store Capital? I said, why not? Well, that's at a low. It's got a lot of room to run. And if you think Main Street is going to come back, Store Capital is, because they dish out all the cards, all the gift cards, all the, discount cards. So don't get me wrong, I've done a video on Dave and Buster's, and out of cake and Dave and Buster's, I'd go for cake. Always love cake. Do you have twice as much for only half the calories? You cut it in half, it's only half the calories, you can eat twice as much. Yeah. So, but that's why Store Capital has broader range. It's not reliant on one company. It's like an ETF of all the retail companies. Anyway, don't forget, stay safe, stay savvy, stay investing. I'll see you later.